Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 8. I hope you're having a good week now that the first week of Vlogmas is over. I hope you're still looking for more because I have a plethora of things to show you again today. From lit candles in my new glass holders. But Moosey right now is working on something that looks like this, but it's battery operated. So you'll all be much happier with that. Well, today I have more information about gifts that you can give to a family or a couple, and it's in the way of food. Now, this morning, for this purpose, and also for Moosey and I to eat, and he is waiting for a slice, I baked a loaf of bread this morning. This one I think is, well, it was a box mix that I kind of dolled up. I put some raisins in it. I put a lot of walnuts. Moosey loves walnuts. And it's a form of a brown bread that was supposed to taste like date and nut, but it didn't do that for me. I still want to use my own recipe. But I wanted to show you that when you give a loaf of bread of any kind that you like, I have recipes for our Irish soda bread, our Irish sweet bread with caraways and raisins, my favorite, and my grandma Nellie Flanagan's favorite. Of course, she was born in Ireland. But this is how you would give these. And I have bought these for years through the thrift shops or on eBay whenever I can find them. I know you've all seen these beautiful pewter bread holders. And you can pick these up. When I go to the thrift shop, I don't always have something in mind, but I know what I like when I get there if they have them. And you can pick these up for a couple of dollars. You can also buy them on eBay, pre-owned or new. And I just keep a stack of these. And when I give a loaf of bread to someone, usually they like Nellie Flanagan's Irish bread, I will include one of these. Now I have several of these. This is a cute one. The sayings on there are really sweet. Let me put my glasses on to see if I could see them. Bless us this day our daily bread. It says that one. This one, give us this day our daily bread. And another, the bigger one, you know, they actually all say the same. I have some that have a different thing on. So keep your eyes peeled for things like this in thrift shops, on eBay. And if you're a bread giver and you love to give bread any time of the year, actually, but you wrap it up with some of that clear plastic and a big red ribbon, and they will love it. Maybe even the recipe, you could include the recipe. While I was talking about the little candle holders and putting them up on the mantle, Moosey was putting together some other things, and look what these are. I have 3 of them. They're about 1.5 inches, not quite 2 inches tall. And these are the ones that I'm sure Teeny and the other ladies that are so worried about my fires are talking about. They do flicker, and they're battery operated. And I found in my stash of candles drawer, I have stashes of everything, I think. I found a whole card full of these things. And I did get them at Big Lots couple years ago. I will start using these and hopefully they'll show up as much. Thank you, Moosey, for putting them together. Actually, I think they already had the batteries in them, didn't they, Moose? Mm-hmm. Good. Well, you ladies are going to be happy about that. But doesn't that look pretty already? Okay, now in line with the pewter bread plates, I have some coasters. And I have a collection of these too. And when we would give a bottle of wine or bottle of champagne or whatever, most of the time we use these on our own. New Year's Eve, whenever we have something, I've always put these out. I have one that's an antique that is mine, and I've loved it if I can find it. Yes, it's the one on the bottom. And this one happens to have a wooden, sorry for the noise, a wooden center to it. Wood that seems to go around in a circle. Isn't that a beautiful one? And these are all pewter. This one has a felt bottom on it, and it is very old. And I believe I got this over in England or Scotland, maybe Ireland, I don't know, but probably an antique shop. These coasters are lovely. When you give a bottle of wine, you can also give these. Now keep your eyes peeled for these in thrift shops. You don't see these as often, but definitely you find them on eBay and other places. I don't know whether you go to garage sales. I don't go to those too much anymore. I used to, but I just seem to love my thrifts. Now this says, a day without wine is like a day without sunshine. Isn't that cute? And a lot of them say that. Some of them have pretty designs on them. Really lovely. One has hearts and lovebirds. So these are just suggestions for you, inexpensive suggestions. Maybe you can find them brand new somewhere if you punch in on Amazon or you're in a little shop somewhere. But coasters and bread, those little bread holders, I think they're just an added surprise to a nice homemade baked something or a nice bottle of wine as a present. And it can be at any time of the year, not necessarily Christmas. So Moosey is sitting over there, and since he's such a good boy, putting together some lights for me and doing some other chores, I'm gonna cut this bread and I'm gonna give him a slice. It's mid-morning. One slice for now. This looks like a date nut bread, but it doesn't have those nice mushed up dates in them. And that's another recipe. My mother's handwritten recipe for date and nut bread. And we made that a couple of weeks ago, and you all made it too. And I loved it. You make it with fresh dates and mush them up and all sorts of other things. Go back to that particular, was probably 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago that we made it. If you're interested in a great recipe for date and nut bread, just like we used to eat in the old days. I will probably make another loaf for the Christmas holidays, and I will make more of my Irish soda bread and my Irish sweet bread, which has caraways and raisins in it too. Now, I hope this video isn't a little discombobulated because I've been jumping around from outside with the little children's table and chair set, showing you what I'm going to be doing with it, to the kitchen and shining up some of these cake pedestals. Now, the two that I was shining up, and I was particularly shining them up, it took me 5 minutes. Just to show you what condition these are in, it doesn't really matter most of the time. And these are two of those cake plates, which I recommend everybody has at least 4 or 5 of these things. I've just worked on these for just 5 minutes, really. And I just want you to know that you can, most of the time, you can bring up the silver with just a little bit of silver polish or tarnish polish. There's certain brands that are better than others. Sometimes on my brass, my pewter, and even sometimes the really bad silver like this one, which I only did 1/2 of. Worked on it a little bit harder than this one, and this is coming up eventually. Sometimes I use a little lime away, believe it or not, on very badly tarnished metals of sorts. And we'll talk about how I use these and why I pick them up and want so many of them. Just to show you that if you find these silver or silver plated, this one happens to be glass, and it's smaller and higher, and I want to tell you about that. Now, why have several of these? Well, you can use these pedestals for various things. When you are decorating a table for, let's say, a tea or a family coming for a meal or just dessert, you use these cake plates as forms to elevate your table, a much more interesting look to a beautifully set table displaying either cakes and cupcakes and all sorts of sweets. If you have different levels it looks so much more professional. And you put your flowers or your greens in between. A couple raised over here, a couple raised here. So don't forget to use those plates. And you do see those quite a bit on the silver displays in thrift shops, ladies. So go for that too. Now, as I went to get my cake cutter, I just remembered something that Moosey should put on his list of things to remember to get me for Christmas. I put it on mine, but I will be surprised. Look what happened to my cake plate thing, my lifter. What do you call these? It was a cute one. This is the handle. It's all little tiny beads. It fits in here, but somehow when I took it out the other day, the washer fell off and I haven't quite found it yet. It's probably under one of the kitchen pantry cupboards. However, somewhere I have another one, but once again, there must be a hole somewhere on this property with things that Nanny loses. And by the way, someday, that just reminded me of another rabbit hole story that is about an old dog of ours, a hole in the ground and a dog. He wasn't buried in it, but it concerns neighbors and it's a good story. And I used to tell this all the time when I was teaching to my little second and third graders and younger ones all about this dog. And it's a fascinating story. So I'll tell that story sometime, but that's a non sequitur. So I'm gonna try and cut a piece of this bread for Moosey right now with my cake cutter. This bread is so good. So I'm giving Moosey 2 slices. Looks good. So this is a date and nut bread. It's a box mix, but it doesn't have all the real mushed up dates in it. And I did add some walnuts and some raisins to this cake just to make it a little different. But this is not my original recipe, but it is delicious. See how pretty it looks on this? Now I should put it on one of those pewter pieces, but. This is the darling little play set that I picked up for $13.95. Can you believe it? I found this and just snapped it when I saw it. This is a table and 2 chairs, and when I looked on the bottom, it's beautiful wood. It comes from IKEA. Now you can imagine how much IKEA would have charged for this little set. What I plan to do with these, the table is so solid, it's amazing. And the 2 little chairs, I plan to spray paint first. I'll sand the black down a little bit and spray paint, probably white or maybe a soft gray, depending on who I have in mind for these little things. And then I will paint either little sunflowers here or there, or in the past I've painted pigs and elephants and little monkeys and rabbits, a little bit of greenery here and there, and then put the name on the back of the chair. I mean, this chair is just perfect for it, for the name of each little child. I will probably do this maybe next week sometime, maybe the week after. I don't know where it will fit in to my schedule, but I will do it on camera with you and show you a little bit about what I'm planning to do. I know a couple of you have said you've had sets like this sitting up in the attic or down in the cellar, just waiting to do something like this. So we'll do this together. I'm gonna go in now. I did bake a loaf of bread, and I wanna show you how you can give food items like bread or cakes or cookies in an unusual way with a beautiful piece to serve it on and wrap it up. Would you believe it was in the 40s this morning here in Southern California when we got up? Moosey won't even put his big toe outside yet. You know him. He's bundled up with the scarves and everything even when he's inside. But that's the reason I have my nice cozy pupper vest on this morning, because it's still a little chilly now. So continuing along with the gifts for guys, except for this one on my head, we're back on gifts. Someone must have hand crocheted this. This is a Christmas tree. I know I look like an elf here, with a star on the top that happens to be stuffed with little rosettes, and I know that crochet stitch. Isn't this hat cute? Now, Mosi said it was too big for a little one. I bought this for one of the little ones, but I have such a big head here. But I thought I'd just show you this one. Isn't that cute? Now, one of the other ones that I snagged, and this was a coup because these are quite expensive on those sites. I think I told you Brendan is a Laker fan, and I made him that blanket a couple of years ago. He was wrapped up in that. I showed you a picture of him the day he was sick. By the way, he's due home tomorrow. And this is for him too. Isn't this cute? So caps for boys, girls, the ones that are warm, even in California, the gals and guys love the matching scarves and caps. So don't forget caps. Now, one other gift idea for a girl, a teenager, or even a little one. I think that this is a jewelry keeper, mainly for maybe little bracelets, but definitely earrings. And there's a cute little birdie right on top, and it's made of brass, and it has a little cup at the bottom for loose earrings that fall or don't fit here. But I thought this was darling. It has little ball feet on the bottom, and you could give this. This was also a thrift find yesterday. You know, when you go to the thrift shop, don't go with something in mind. Just keep your imagination going as you're looking for gifts or something for yourself. And something pops up and you say, oh my gosh, isn't that great? So one of my teeny boppers will get this, maybe with a couple of pair of earrings on it. This is a cute idea too. Now, you all loved those Fair Isle socks. Those were women's socks. I thought they could have been both, but they were up to size 9, and usually I buy men's socks where it goes up to 12. Now, if I could find those Fair Isle socks, and I think I did online on Amazon for men, I would get another packet of those for men, because the style now is for guys, especially hip guys, to wear, and especially elderly grandpas too, to wear cute printed socks. I did pick these up, and these are those booties, which I wear a lot, especially at night in the winter too if my feet are cold. But these are great to wear with my clogs or anything. You know, we don't wear stockings anymore. We don't wear pantyhose. We don't wear knee socks. We always were putting something on their feet. So these are good to wear with slippers in the morning or anything. And there were, I think, 6 pair in here, and it was $6.99. So cute prints, another cute gift idea. Now, if you have a gardener, there's several ways you can go. There was a garden set, and I think I might have opened that up already outside, but I was going to save that for someone. It was a set of 3 types of cutters for pruning your roses and clipping things. Came with a pair of rubber type gloves, but cute. I found this a couple of weeks ago online. These are a pink and white check, and they're for a gal, maybe even a young gal who's just starting to garden. And the gloves have a rubberized bottom to them and a cloth top. And it's just a little half apron. It wasn't expensive. A little half apron with pockets to put your clippings or your tools or what. It's not fancily made. You could probably make this yourself. It has little drawstrings and just little pockets. I would have liked to have seen it in a heavier material, something more substantial. But do you get the idea? You can buy great aprons for gardeners that have that are much more substantial, and maybe another set of tools. But a great gift idea for a gardener, an apron with maybe some tools and matching gloves to go along with it. Well, I think you're pretty much set on inexpensive gifts for your family. I don't think we missed anybody, including the animals. And if you look at last Christmas's, I did get the dogs, the cutest doggy coats. And I can't remember what they said, but they said, I'm the sister, I'm the brother, whatever. They were the cutest things. And I bought them in one of those dollar stores, but it was called Under Five. It was kind of a new one in the groups of different kinds of dollar stores. And I think they were $4.99 or something. But doggy coats are cute. And I'm sure they have plenty of things for your cats too. See, I didn't light my big candles, but I found 3 red ones, and I had to take a few Santas down, but that's okay. These look kind of nice, and I like the different heights. Well, I just discovered, as I looked at one of the last clips, you can't be a hottie and not look in the mirror once in a while to check to see if you don't have lipstick almost up the way to your nose, which I just did. And you can't eat... You can't eat Dayton Nut Bread with red light district type lipstick on. So that brings me to something that I have realized as I looked in the mirror at myself this morning, that it's time for some self-maintenance. I noticed in one of my videos the other day, a little teeny white little one of those things sticking out of my chinny. You know, 3 days pass, you think you're home free, and all of a sudden one pops out. So I think I need to give myself a little maintenance. And by the way, I think that new eyebrow pencil or pen, I don't seem to feel any wet substance of any kind coming out. I think it's a bust, that pencil, unless I got a dud. And I went back to my normal pencil to try and do these, and that came out a little too dark. So I'm still hunting for the right kind of a eyebrow filler to make my eyebrows look natural. I forgot to show you one thing. Now I will show you my Christmas vest. This is one of my vests that I've had for years. Back in my teaching days, I did have the vest, but the other day I found a hat at the thrift shop, and gosh, just yesterday. And I thought it was great. It is one of those fedoras, but it's different. It's crushable, probably was an expensive hat. And I can see, well, if I lived back in New Jersey again, and New Jersey gals, I'll bet, are wearing these things now when the snow comes. I love hats, as you know. And I would get out my long to the floor black puffer coat, which I still have hanging out there in my shed. And I'd put on my big dark glasses and my big black purse. And I would prance down the streets of New York City in this hat, and the snow would never get on my face. Now, isn't this a great hat? It's sort of a floppy brim for a fedora, but I thought it was great. Now let me show you the vest. It's one of those vests that the kids in school loved, my students, and it has packages and a little sparkle on it. I'll just back up a little bit, and it goes nicely with the red sweater. Once again, red. So that kind of wraps up today's video. I hope that you've all enjoyed it. A lot of different things, and I'm trying to get enough gift ideas for you to have a big enough selection that you can maybe pick and choose and use some of those gifts. Well, ladies, I have just firmed up with Colleen that on Friday morning, she and I will be having our mental health chat about how people, especially women, are feeling during the holidays and perhaps at any other time. Colleen, I think I've told you, is a mental health therapist, and she's very anxious to meet you all. And we'll be doing that Friday, as I said. Now that means that I will be able to upload it perhaps Friday night or sometime on Saturday, in which case I might be able to get it up on Sunday for you to see, or if not Sunday, then definitely Monday. It all depends on my weekend schedule. As you know, we have a busy weekend coming up. I know you'll enjoy it. Now, the plan for doing the Christmas tree, the broccoli Christmas tree on the pyramid would be that I will be doing this on Friday with you, and it will probably be up Saturday. So that's our schedule. Look forward to these. Put it on your calendar, ladies. So thank you again, all my friends. You're just great the way you're commenting on everything, and you're making me feel that all of this is worthwhile. Not only that, but I'm having fun. And you know what? So is Moose. He might not be getting veggies with his supper, as somebody noticed last night. It was definitely a non-veggie supper, but he's a good sport, and he's going along with this too and letting me do my challenge. Love you all. See you tomorrow.
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree.